pretty sure I have dry shampoo in my hair, so just ignore that. We're on like day 3 or 4. Okay, I don't want this to be a hella bella long video because who wants that? So let's just get right into it. This is my face, no makeup. I did my skincare, but yeah, this is my face. If you watch my acne video, my face has gotten better, but this is a clean slate. So firstly, I start off with my Ultra Sheer 45 sunscreen. I wear this every single day if I'm going outside. It is gloomy and rainy today, but I am still wearing it because the UV rays can still get through, you feel me? I also don't think this affects my makeup at all, which is great. But yeah, I just put that all over my face, making sure to be gentle and not pull, really. I don't use, what is going on with my voice? I don't use a primer. I used to, but honestly, I don't wear my makeup for very long, so I don't really feel the need to. My favorite drugstore foundation is always Revlon Color Stay. I am the color 150 Buff. And this is for combination oily because that is my skin type. But yeah, I've tried different drugstore foundations. When I first started wearing makeup, I used I don't even know what brand it was, Maybelline CoverGirl, the BB cream, and that made my skin hella oily. And then I found this one, or no, I was using the Maybelline Fit Me. That's a good one, but this one I think is better. And then I also tried the one that everyone loves, is this Maybelline? Maybelline Superstay. This one, like, everyone loves it. But I like this. I just keep coming back to this one. So yeah, that is what I do. And so I don't really use concealer. If I do, I use the Master Conceal by Face Studio. It's alright. It's a little yellow for my skin tone, but I don't really have a holy grail concealer. But yeah, I kind of do my face in steps. Like, I don't do my full face at the same time. So I start with my chin and I do dots, and then I use this needs to be washed really badly. Like, this is embarrassing. But I'm gonna get some good cleaner off Amazon soon. But I just take this, and I'm pretty sure I got this for Christmas, this brush set, and it is so nice, and I think my mom got it at Costco. Like, talk about bougie on a budget, like, but I think it's so nice, and it buffs out really nicely, and it doesn't absorb the product. Like, some brushes just eat up your foundation. It's like, where did it go? I put it on my face, didn't mean to put it on my brush. But then I don't really like the streakiness, so then I'll go in with a sponge and I'll just buff it out really quickly. Now, my nose is very temperamental. That's just a theme in my life. And so what I like to do is I like to put product, like, directly into the creases and blend it in directly into the creases. You kind of saw me doing that, because I never like when you can, like, tell when the product is separating in someone's, like, nose crease. It just looks kind of weird. So I like to make sure that that is very covered so I don't have that problem. So I don't use concealer before foundation. Some people use it before, some people use it after. I use it after because I think this foundation covers really nicely, actually. You can see, like, this is with foundation on, but if there are any spots after foundation that I think need a bit more coverage, I will put it on. I will put concealer on now. Just on any stubborn little friends. And also what I'll do is I'll bring the foundation all the way down my neck, but just, like, kind of like a triangle. I don't bring it all the way down my neck because I think that's superfluous if I don't need it. But it's like a little triangle down my neck. And also I'll just, like, do a double chin so I can make sure that my jawline acne is getting covered and, like, jawline scarring. Once my foundation is done, then I move on to brows. I do brows in between foundation and powder because I line out my brows, like, I conceal them out so that they're sharper. I have a full video on how I do my brows actually, and I will link that down below and put a card if you are interested in seeing how I do my brows. But for sake of time and this video, I'm just going to do them off camera and I'll be back. Okay, they're a little thick today, but that's fine. Now the next thing I do after brows is I like to prep my eye area for eyeshadow, and I also just like to put some foundation under my eye to brighten it up a little bit. I don't use concealer just because foundation works fine for me, and also I don't have a concealer that's lighter than my foundation, so what's the point, you know? So I might as well just use it. So I just put a little bit on my finger first, and I will just put it on my eyelid and blend it out. I do this to, number one, cover up any discoloration that my eyelid might have, like redness or veins or anything like that, and just create a nice canvas for eyeshadow. And also I like to do this because I think it makes my eyeshadow last longer. It doesn't crease as badly, especially because I only wear my makeup for a short amount of time. So I put on foundation first and blend it out, and once it's all blended out, I keep my eyes closed so it doesn't crease up on me. And then, excuse me, using the I like still have my eyes closed, the Rimmel London Stay Matte Powder in Translucent, I load up a brush and I just set it like that. See the difference between foundation and nothing, and then it's ready for eyeshadow. So I just do that on the other side. I also use the Rimmel London Stay Matte Translucent Powder for my face, which we will get to, but yeah, I just have always used that ever since I started wearing makeup, and it's served me well. Does the job. And this also sets the under part of your eyebrow because I conceal it out, so I put like, I just like, what is it called? Edge it out? I don't know. But it also sets underneath that as well. So there we go. And then I'll take a little bit more on my finger, and starting in the corner, I'll just work it out and down. You want to be very gentle around this area because your eyes are so sensitive, so you never want to tug. So I just pat. And then again, I'll take, I don't use, sometimes I use like baking powder, but, baking powder, like we're in the kitchen. But if it's just an everyday look, I'll use this just because it's super easy. Okay, and we'll just do the other side. And again, my nose is very temperamental. Sebaceous filaments, discoloration, dryness, all that jazz. So I just like to put a little extra layer on there, and I don't buff it out as much as I did the first time because I want that coverage there. And if I buff it out, it'll start to look a little bit cakey. So I'll just use up the rest of my foundation. Okay, so now it's time for powder. So I start off with translucent powder, the Rimmel London Stay Matte. I take a big brush and I'll just start to almost stipple it, like I'll use a stippling motion to just really get it into my skin. And I will just put this all over my face to set all the liquids and things. So after I use my translucent powder, I go in with a foundation powder. I use the Bare Minerals Bare Pro in Champagne 03. Oh gosh, things are falling. And I will take, I have two methods. Actually, I have three. So the first method is I will take a big brush if I just need some extra coverage, like my chin, and I will just, again, stipple it on. The next method is I will take a very tight kabuki brush, like a very thick kabuki brush, and I will like move it around like that so it really gets the product in there, and I will just pat it on for some overall coverage, just where I'm showing like redness, or you can see some scarring or things like that. I really like to use it on my jawline and on my neck. And then my last way to cover up any stubborn spots, it's almost like concealer, but I will take a sponge that I use specifically for this powder. I don't use it with liquids, and I'll just take some and do more like a spot treatment. And this, I feel, is the best way to cover up any discoloration or anything. Okay, now I'm done with powder, or at least like foundation powder. So in between my face powder and any sort of like contour, bronzer, blush, highlight, I will do my eyes. So I love this palette. Since I got it, I use it every day. I love the colors. I think the colors really suit my eyes and my look that I'm going for. So I use the NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette. These are the colors. I use it in every tutorial I do. And I use 3 blush. Can I not speak? Apparently. I use 2. Let's try this again. I use 3 brushes. 1 rounded big shadow brush, 1 thinner, more crease brush, and I use a blending brush. So with the rounded brush, the big brush, I go in with these 2 colors. You can see I use them, and a little bit of this color. Use them a lot, and I will just start to put that on the outside and work its way in towards my corner of my eye, and I will just lay that down as a nice base. Okay, once I have that, I will go in with my smaller brush and I will use this darker color, and I will work in these 2 colors. So I'll kind of just, I really don't separate those colors. I will literally like dip my brush here, dip my brush here, dip my brush here, because that's just what works for me. And I will bring it across and just keep it really tight in the crease, and then I will work it underneath my eye as well, just for a little dimension. And then I'll take my blending brush and I'll blend it out. Now I used to just leave it at this stage, but lately I've been doing this thing that I really like, where I'll go in with the Ulta eyeshadow trio in Warm Glow. You can see they're really pretty shimmery shades, and I will take my middle finger and I will use it in this coppery tone, the middle color, and I will put that in the middle of my lid and blend it out. And then I'll take my pointer finger and I will put it in the lightest shade, that like champagne-y golden tone, and I'll work it in the crease and just bring it across and blend those 2 together. But how freaking pretty are those 2 colors together? Oh my gosh, I got something in my eye. I just think they're so pretty, and it just creates such a warm look, especially for green or blue colored eyes like mine. I just think it really contrasts nicely. I will take a little bit of that champagne color on a tiny brush and I will just put it in my corner, because I think it's pretty. Except I always get it in my eye if I do this. But that's just the price you pay. Now that shadow is done, we can go back and work on contour and all that jazz. Let's clean up as we go, guys. So I use this contour palette. I really honestly, it's such a obscure sort of thing. It's called City Color Collection Contour Palette 2. And I got it at a really random cheapy store. It's probably not the best quality, but honestly, like, some of my favorite makeup items are the cheapest ones. So it just has all these colors. So I'm going to be using this one. And I use this brush, and I'll just take a bit on my brush, tap off the excess, and just start to slowly work it into my cheek bones, the hollows of my cheeks. And I bring it all the way down. Like, I have such a round face. We need all the help we can get. You feel? Just a subtle little shadow, and then I'll also do the same thing right in the corner of my jaw. I won't bring it all the way across, just here. Just to add a little bit of shadow so it's not so squishy there. Okay, so after I do my cheekbones and my jaw, I will take a tiny little brush and I'll take that same color and I will put it underneath my lip for the illusion that my lips are bigger than they are. And then here's the scariest part that always stresses me out. I'm gonna contour my nose. Because since we put so much product on our nose, it looks like just one giant blob now. So we have to just shape it out a little bit, and I will take the the littlest amount, the gentlest touch. We're not looking for a dramatic look, we just need a little bit of shadow. Because if you rub too hard, that'll move the product, which indicates that it's not the best quality makeup, like the foundation and stuff. But you know what? If you want to buy me bougie makeup, you can be my guest. I'll gladly accept. And also be careful not to use these fingers to blend it out because these already have eyeshadow colors on them, or these do. I've done that so many times and it's stressful. And then I know that some people do that little rounded dot, and sometimes I do it and sometimes I don't. Like the rounded sort of look. But I just lightly contour. Emphasis on lightly. Very subtle, looking for very subtle. Okay, after contour we do bronzer. So I use the Hoola Benefit. I mean, a lot of people, this is the original. A lot of people use this. I've had it for a while. I'm just using it till it runs out. I don't know if I'm going to use what I'm going to use after, but it works for now and it works for what I want it for, which is just like a bit of a glow, and I need something that's a bit not as intense as the contour shade, you know what I mean? Just to add a bit of warmth. After bronzer, then we do blush. I'm using this, oh god, Makeover Essentials palette, and I am using, oh goodness, this blush color. Can you see that? It's kind of like a rosy, sort of like orangey pink tone. I'm taking it on this angled brush and I'm just working it in a circular motion, like half on above where I put my contour and bronzer, but half, it's like a blending. A makeup artist one time told me that the contour, blush, and highlight should kind of, they're on top of each other, so it's like contour, blush, highlight, but they should also kind of be overlapping each other, so it's a nice seamless finish. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm explaining that right. And again, I use a stippling motion because I don't trust sweeping motions. Like, that just messes up my underneath makeup. Okay. I like that. That's cute. That's fun and fresh. So after blush, it's time for highlight. For my cheeks, I like to use this Laura Geller. I'm pretty sure this is a eyeshadow. Laura Geller Baked Shadow in Honey. It's a very beautiful, beautiful, like, rose gold sort of look. And I load it up on a brush, and I just sweep it. Load it up on a brush, sweep it. And then I like to go in with this palette again, and you can tell I really love this color. This is a classic, like, Snow White sort of look, and I'll sweep it like a triangle, like right here, to give myself a bit of a glow. Perfect. And then I'll take a smaller brush, put it on Cupid's bow, a little bit on the nose. I don't like the strobe like nose that blinds people, but just a little bit. Perfect. And exclamation mark underneath the eyebrows and in the corner of the eye. So while I'm doing my highlight, like before I do my highlight, I actually like to, this may sound so weird, but I think eyelash curlers and mascara works better if they're warmed up. And I'm sitting down, so what I'll do is I'll put my eyelash curler and my mascara in between my legs so they'll warm up while I'm doing my other things. I know that sounds weird, but yeah, it just warms it up and it doesn't make it too warm, because sometimes I'll put it in front of like my foot heater and when I go to use it, it's like burning my eye. Like it's just too hot. So I find that this is the best method to use. Is there fluff? Okay, so as a final step, final couple steps before I do my mascara, I like to brush up my eyebrows so that they look a bit better and there's no like eyebrows out of place. I don't use a clear setting gel or anything. I should probably invest in one just because that might make my life easier. And then I will also, I don't use eyeliner. Eyeliner intimidates me, but what I do to make my eyes a bit brighter is I will take a angled brush, a small angled brush, and I will take a almost charcoal, it's not quite black, a charcoal colored eyeshadow, and I will just line my eyes with that. I think it looks very natural. It doesn't really scream, you know, eyeliner, but it still makes your eyes brighter. So you can, I'll do it and I'll show you the difference. And I won't quite bring it to the like stark corner, but you can kind of see it just adds a little oomph, you know? So by the time I'm done with, you know, highlight, brushing up my eyebrows, doing my eyeliner, usually my curling iron is warm, so then I would just curl my eyelashes. And then I am using the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black, but I also really like the Voluminous Lash Paradise. Who is this by? I feel like it's L'Oreal too, but I think it rubbed off. My bad. But I like a more like, not mascara. I don't like clumpy mascara. So this is kind of on its last leg and I like that, but if I'm using a new one, I'll take the wand and I'll wipe off the excess on a tissue and then use it after that because I don't like clumpiness. Some people like that, but I just don't prefer it. I just think if it's more wispy, it looks more natural. And then I'll do just a little bit on my bottom. I find that if I do too much, it looks kind of weird. I look like a doll or something. Or like Twiggy, which isn't a bad thing, but I just think for an everyday, and sometimes I'll just wipe off the excess. So after all of this, excuse me, then it's on to lips. And what I do is I'll wash my hands because by this time it's like I have foundation and I have powder and stuff. So I will wash my hands and I'll use a paper towel. And then I'll use that paper towel to wipe off any extra product like chapstick or foundation or powder that may have gotten on my lips. So I'm going to go wash my hands really quick and I'll show you what I mean. So be right back. Okay, so I just washed my hands and I dried them off with a paper towel. So now this paper towel is damp. So what I'll do is I'll take this damp paper towel. You could also just dampen a paper towel, but this is just my process. And I will just wipe off all the extra product. I know some people, like Nikki Tutorials does this where she'll put foundation over her lips to like cancel out the color of her lips and then put on lipstick, but I hate that feeling. Like, I don't like this feeling right now that I have right now. I just like clean lips for putting on lipstick. Also when I was younger, I used to do my face foundation or like face makeup and all that stuff and then leave my lips like this, and I don't do that anymore because I think it looks weird. It looks incomplete to me. Like, there are two important things I do in my makeup routine that I think just like I need to do. It's incomplete without them. That is my eyebrows and my lips. They are the bookends of the face and I just think they just make the face. And if I leave out my lips, it just looks incomplete. So my holy grail, I use this every day. Sometimes I'll switch it up and do something fun or different, but this is my holy grail. It's honestly rubbed off because I use it so much, but it came in this pack. And as you can see, I don't use any of the other colors. This is the darkest color. But it is, again, the random cheap place that I got this from. It's like Lip Craze lip crayons by Style Essentials. I don't know. It's from Five Below. It was $5, which is questionable just with ingredients and how much those workers got paid to make it. But, you know, let's just... Anyways, this is the color Dreamy. I see Dreamy. Is that what the color is? Oh, I never knew that. But I love this crayon. It almost like dries down to a stain. Like, it just doesn't rub off. But let me just show you my process. So what I'll do, sometimes I'll put on chapstick before it. And actually, I put on my lips last thing. Like, I will do my full makeup, go about my day, and then right before I leave for work, I'll put on lips. But for sake of this video, I'll do it now. But you can see I use it a lot. So I will like do that stippling motion. I love a stippling motion, I guess. And put the product on my lips, and I will slowly start to overline my upper and bottom because I think my lips are kind of small. I just don't think they fit my face. So I like to overline them, and I do that with a stippling motion, just very gently. And I kind of concentrate it in the middle of my lips. Let me get close. I also just prefer to cover up my Cupid's bow. Like, I do more of a rounded lip, but that's totally up to you and what you prefer. Now, this looks weird, right? This looks clearly overdrawn. And for a long time, I didn't overdraw my lips because I would look at this and be like, that looks weird. But what changed the game was It's Likely Makeup, one of my favorite makeup YouTubers. She taught me, take a loose setting powder, baking powder. I use the NYX HD Photogenic finishing powder. I use this when I bake. When I bake my face. But I just take this, take it on my finger, dab off the excess. So it's literally just a thin layer on my finger. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like the thinnest layer. And I'll start tapping that and working that in my lips. Because what you want to get rid of is that shininess from your crease line. Like, we're doing optical illusions here. Makeup is all about optical illusions. So, and I do a little on my bottom too. And then I'll take some powder and I'll actually work it out like this. But see, that line is now gone, so it looks more natural of an overline. Now, usually I'll actually overline it even more, but for sake of this video. But do you see, like, my actual lip line is like down here or something. So it just takes care of that kind of looking weird or fake. But yeah, this is my look. Let me take down my hair and like actually do a little bit of a pose model for you. So give me 1 second. My hair looks messed up. That's fine. This is my finished makeup look. This is the look I do pretty much every day. I think it covers up my hyperpigmentation and like scarring and acne beautifully. So yeah, I hope you found some tips in here and I hope you really enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like, and if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps you out and I hope you enjoyed this video. So thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in another video. Bye guys.